The stage has been set for the 2024 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. The groups have been drawn, and now all the teams know who exactly their enemies are going to be and who they have to beat to get through directly into the main event. Let's take a look at where all the teams currently stand. So to start things off, Max, we've got to come to a conclusion of who we think the group of death is. So let's start to take a look here at Group Green.
Yeah, I mean, Group Green, you got some good teams like 4MB, our boy Doc that we're going to be looking at here. Back-to-back champions of PMSL CSA in 2024, so that's looking great. D+ Kia also has done some good stuff in the past in global events, so they got some good ones.
I mean, you have Stalwart in there, which obviously did have a great performance at PMSL. I think they're a good team, but worthy of calling Group Green a group of death? No. Take a look at Group Red, though. You do have a lot of heavy hitters in there. You have Alter Ego, who got through off PMGC points. We've seen them play in the past at PMGC without too much great success. But then you do go into, like, for instance, your Falcons. But then you look at, like, TJB and Tiamba, not really ranked highly in our power rankings. However, at PMWC would say quite differently. But Red, yeah, definitely closer when it comes to skill gaps. Yeah. That leaves us with Group Yellow.
For me, I'm going to have to say, got most of the heavy hitter teams. Of course, we've got Alpha 7. Not only now the champions of PMSL Americas for 2024, also the #1 team in our power ranking here. It's not just a small lead they have in the power ranking too, Jason, right? It's a massive 200+ point lead they have. So like catching up to them by the end of the year, it's not happening. But Xavier and Vampire too, like there's so many big names in Group Yellow that it kind of is going that way.
So for me, Group Yellow definitely should be the group of death. Which 3 teams from each group will directly qualify to the grand finals in your opinion? Let's start off with Yellow.
Alpha 7. Undeniable.
Yeah.
PMWC champions, I mean, what do you really want to like contest about that? But I'm going to go for 2 SEA teams after that. I'm personally going to go for Xavier that just have this tendency to always reach the finals. And then my final team is Vampire. Tony K is just such a good contender for those MVP titles globally, especially after how he performed in SEA. So those are my 3 picks.
So for me, it's exact same 3 teams.
But moving on to Group Red here, Jason, we got like some teams I think I'm going to have to go for Falcons here. Disappointing PMWC, but I feel like it's a team that is capable to question themselves when things aren't going right, aren't going their way. So I'm going to have to go with Falcons.
Oh, so I have Falcons as well on my list.
Yeah. Looking at one of the PL teams this time around, I'm going to have to go for Tiamba. I think that they showed some true promise, especially for some players that played for the very first time over at a global tournament. So Tiamba's going to be the next one. Don't say anything. Okay, let me pick Alter Ego. They're going to be fine. Trust in Rosemary. He's going to be okay.
I had Tiamba as well. Like QZZ played extremely well. One of our top 10 players at PMWC. Putting TJB in there as well. I feel like they're already focused in. They already know what they need to do to qualify. So Falcons, TJB, Tiamba for me.
Group Green. I do think the 2 Brazilian teams in that group here of Team Liquid and Influence are going to make it, right? It's not just 2 random Brazilian teams. They're 2 of the most aggressive and teams in Brazil, and also they've got that background of playing globally so many times for so many of the players on their roster. So because of that, Team Liquid and Influence Rage, I expect to make it that far. And the last one I think we can agree on, 4MV. From how they played in CSA, we're looking good. If we can see more synergy around Doc in particular, that would be great.
We saw some other players really stepping up in fall and PMSL, so I think they should be able to get through definitely as one of mine. I had Team Liquid as well, and then D+ Kia. They have the experience. I don't know what went wrong for them at the last global, but I have expectations they should be able to make it. Who is our top 5 at the main event, the grand finals of PMGC?
Alpha 7. Pretty obvious pick in my opinion to go for that. 4MV, I think that they took a lot of lessons from PMWC this time around. I have Falcons as my next one. Xavier also is going to be up there. I mentioned it in the previous question. They just tend to do well in global events and always reach the finals. The final pick is going to be Team Liquid. So that's going to be my final pick here for the top 5.
So for my picks, I think we have really similar picks, right? Alpha 7, I don't need to explain. 4MV,
wow.
Xavier, Falcons, all those 4 I don't really need to touch on more than you did. Though I will say this. It's got to be Tiamba for me. Like again, they perform I think better than I expected at PMWC. I wonder if they can bring that kind of fire with them at PMGC off the back of the experience they got at PMWC. So I think Tiamba for me is going to be my 5th pick. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for us talking about how the groups did play out, and, of course, our expectations of who will potentially take home the trophy, at least the top 5. Make sure to tune in, though. On October 31st is when the group stage will be kicking off, and that's over in Kuala Lumpur, where all the players will be playing on land. Going to be sick to see. Make sure you guys tune in, because you're not going to want to miss this year's PMGC, because we also have that awesome trophy behind us.